Hey guys, today we are going to go over some of the basics of LangChain and how to access the OpenAI's GPT models using LangChain. I'm going to break this up into two different parts. Part one, we are going to see the basics by using the LLM model, and part two, which is going to be another video, we will look at the basics using the chat model. Okay, so first things first, we are going to have to install LangChain and OpenAI. We will also install the Google Search Results API, which we will use further on in the notebook when we discuss chains. I already have these installed in my environment, but if you haven't, then you should do pip install of LangChain, pip install of OpenAI, and pip install of Google search results. I do want to point out that in order to use the OpenAI APIs as well as the Google search results APIs, you'll have to create accounts on OpenAI and SERP API. The next most important thing we need to do is we need to set up the environment variables with the keys for OpenAI and SERP API. And in order to do that, we are going to import OS and we are going to set the os.environment. The key for OpenAI is OpenAI API key, as well as the SERP API key. So both these environment variables we are going to set in this fashion. I've already run this in my notebook and I've deleted the keys so that I don't have to show them on this video, but you will put in your keys within the quotes and executes these statements so that your environment is set up correctly. Okay, so let's start building our LLM model. Before we start building the LLM model, we need to import the OpenAI library from langchain.llm. Let's execute that. Next, now we are going to use the most basic building block of LangChain. It's called LLM. And the way that we can initialize the LLM is by saying LLM equal to OpenAI, and inside we can provide the argument temperature. Over here we see that we are setting the temperature to be 0.9, which is a high value closer to 1. And what that means is it will introduce more randomness within the response from OpenAI. Now let's also set the text that we are going to pass to the LLM model in the variable called text. And the question we will be asking of the LLM is, please list 5 vacation destinations which are best for hikers. We will then pass the text to the LLM and then end up printing its output. Now let's execute these cells. So we set the LLM here. Now we set the text, and now we're going to call the LLM with the text, and it's going to take a little while, but it's going to come back with the 5 vacation destinations that are best for hikers. I'm not surprised to see Grand Canyon, Olympic National Park, Machu Picchu, Yosemite, and Torres del Paine as part of the response from OpenAI. So far, so good. Next, let's take it one step further. The case of using prompt templates. Typically, your application will not be as simple as just passing text to the LLM and getting a response back. You may want some sort of an interaction with user input. And the way to accomplish that is to use prompt templates. How do we do that? We will need to import prompt template from langchain.prompts. Okay, let's run this cell. And now we go on to set up our prompt template. And the way to do that is to set up the prompt template with input variables. In this case, we are going to have the input variable called profession. And we set the template text to be, what are the 5 vacation destinations for a profession in curly brackets. All right, let's run this cell. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to construct the prompt with a value passed to the argument for the prompt template. In this case, we're going to say prompt.format profession equal to historian and have that printed out. Let's do that. Let's run it. Okay, so now you see that the prompt template has taken historian as the argument and constructed a new prompt called what are the 5 vacation destinations for an historian. Okay, the next step is to pass this prompt template to the LLM and have the output printed out. So let's do that now. So here you go. If you're a historian, you will enjoy a vacation either in Rome or Athens, Cairo, Jerusalem, and Washington, D.C. Let's pass a different profession to our prompt template and run the command again. This time, let's choose the profession baker and run it. Let's see what it comes back with. All right, for bakers, the best places to visit are Paris, Bali, Rome, Bangkok, and New York City. The next important concept to familiarize ourselves in LangChain is chains. What chains allow us to do is they allow us to combine LLMs and prompt templates into a multi-step workflow. Let's see how to use chains. First, we import LLM chain from LangChain.chains. Then we define the chain to be an LLM chain and we pass our LLM model and the prompt that we had previously created. And then we can run the chain by passing a value for our prompt template. In this case, we're going to pass it rock climber as the argument. And let's see what it comes back with. Let's run both the cells now. Okay, so for a rock climber, the best places to go is Yosemite National Park, Patagonia, Chamonix, Calinos, and Karuma. Let's look at the next important topic, which is the topic of agents. Agents will allow us to use LLMs to determine which actions to take and in which order. An action can be a tool and observing its output or then returning to the user. When we use this correctly, this can be very, very powerful. Let's see how to use it. So from LangChain.agents, we're going to have to load these 3 things. One is the load underscore tools. The next one is the initialize agent. And the third one is the agent type. Once that's loaded, we set up our LLM to be OpenAI with temperature equal to 0. In this case, we are telling OpenAI that we want very little randomness in our responses. Now let's load the tools. We're going to use SERP API for doing Google search. And if you remember previously at the beginning of the video, we set the SERP API key earlier on. So that is going to come in handy for this part of our demonstration. So we load the tools with the tools that we wanted to use and the instance of our LLM model. We are now ready to initialize our agent using the initialize agent call and passing to it the tools that we had previously defined at the LLM model, agent as defined as agent type, 0 short React description. And we're going to set verbose equal to true because we want to know that what the agent is thinking while it is running. Now we're going to run the agent with this particular prompt. What was the high temperature in NYC yesterday in Celsius? So as it's executing, we can see what it's thinking. So it's thinking, I need to find out what is the temperature in NYC yesterday. So the action for that is search, and the input is high temperature in NYC yesterday in Celsius. and then it gets a response back from the SERP API. Then it has another thought. It says, I need to convert the temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. What is the action? It's saying the action is search, and what's the input to it? Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion. So, and then it goes and finds this information via the search API, which is the formula, which says minus 32 and divide by 1.8 to get the answer. And it does that. And now it says, oh, I know I have the final answer, and it gets the final answer and prompts it back. So we have the final answer of 12.8 degrees Celsius. What we've seen so far is calling the LLM in a stateless manner. We may want to, for our application, have this concept of memory added to our chains and agents. And the way to do that would be to use conversation chain. So the conversation chain can be loaded from LangChain. Then we set our LLM with temperature equal to 0. And then we set our conversation to be a conversation chain, and we pass it the LLM. And we ask it to be verbose so that we can see what's happening in the background. Now what we do is we set our output to be the prediction of the conversation, and the input, we're just going to pass it a hello. After which we get it to print the output. Let's run this. So now you see it's entering a new conversation chain. So this is the default prompt that's always there. So that's why we see this prompt. And then you see that the human is passing hello as part of the current conversation. It says finish chain, and the response it gives us back is, hi there, it's nice to meet you. How can I help you today? All right, let us now reply back to the AI with this input saying, I'm doing awesome. What a beautiful day it is. And ask the conversation to predict the next output, and then print the output. So let's see what happens here. Let's run this. And you can see it's entering a new conversation. There's the default prompt. And now you can see this current conversation has our previous prompt and the previous AI response. So it maintains a context of how the conversation is flowing, and it allows it to make better prediction for the next response. And the response being, yes, it is a great day. The sun is shining and the birds are singing. It's a perfect day to get outside and enjoy fresh air. So this brings us to the end of our part 1 of our quick start guide for LangChain. In part 2, we will talk about how to do all the same things but for chat models. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, as well as like this video. Thanks a lot, and see you soon. Bye.